Hi, Gill Gowing here from Avid. Today I'd like to talk about groove and pocket and how that relates to recording bass in Pro Tools. The foundation to any good song is the rhythm section, and it's important how the drums and bass lock together. When recording with native bass systems, this is not always an easy thing to do. Between the connectivity formats of different interfaces, the speed and power of the computer that you're using, to recording and monitoring through plugins, these factors can have a detrimental effect on the monitoring and timing of your recording or overdub. So I want to show you how Pro Tools Carbon and the hybrid engine can free you up from worrying about those technical issues and let you play and establish that tight foundation groove for your next big hit. So let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is how big of a difference it is between recording into Pro Tools natively and recording using DSP mode with a hybrid engine in Carbon. In setting up to record natively, you can easily set your buffer down to a fairly low setting and get acceptable latency, as long as your session doesn't have a ton of tracks with plugins. But when you need to do overdubs with a full mix going on, then you're probably going to need to set the buffer at a much higher setting. This will make trying to stay in the pocket next to impossible. The hybrid engine allows you to easily put your tracks into DSP mode, taking them out of the native mixer and putting them onto dedicated DSP chips for sub 1 millisecond latency, right alongside of the rest of the mix in the native domain. So let's see this in action. The DI track we have here is set to DSP mode, and the process track is currently in native mode. Now both of these tracks are using the same input. With them both now in record, you can hear a very distinct delay between them. As the process track is late, this is most likely going to destroy any real groove you could obtain. But now, as we put that process track into DSP mode and it's going to load all that processing onto those chips, you'll see that the inputs line right up and it's going to feel like you're playing through an actual amp. This is crucial for capturing a performance that is in the pocket without having to later fix it in the mix. The next thing I'd like to show is how I set up to record bass tracks with a few different sounds at my disposal in real time, as well as capturing a DI track simultaneously for further manipulation at a later date. So I have 3 aux tracks set up with completely different sounds. The first setup is using Avid's 11 Mark II plugin with an Ampeg SVT head and 810 cabinet for a semi-distorted rock bass tone and the gray compressor for a little front-end evenness. The second setup is using the Brainworks Ampeg B15N tube amp with the Brainworks BX opto limiter for a big round old school vibe. And the third setup is using the Brainworks Gallion-Kruger 800RB with the Purple Audio MC77 for a more modern hi-fi sound. All 3 of these setups are on aux channels being fed from the same instrument input, so they're all live. All 3 are then bussed to an audio track for recording the performance, letting me easily switch between the sounds depending on the direction the song is going. This way of recording requires committing the sound as the bass track is being recorded, just like most records were made back in the day. But we're also set up to record a DI track in case we want to further change the direction of the sound at a later date. All of the bass tracks are in DSP mode to let me record at the lowest possible latency, even while recording through plugins. And I'm doing all of this without leaving Pro Tools. It's just a simple click of a button. So let's record a few passes and see how these different sounds can inspire the performance. by using the hybrid engine with carbon, it's a very easy task to get the performance you need and stay locked into the groove, all without worrying about monitoring latency and complex setups. Thanks for checking out the video, and we'll see you again soon.